when they try on you, when they talk about you, and they try to put their foot on your neck. If you stay down, you will never ever get that resolve.
What's up, everybody? This is your boy Josh Showtime, and this is Showtime's Fight Form. I'm back. It's been a couple weeks. I know, had to do a work trip, so I really couldn't record. I was busy 24/7. I'm happy to be back home and get into this. I missed a lot of fights. I wish I could like recap every single one, but I'm just gonna recap the one that just happened this past weekend, which was UFC 287, Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. Now look, I know I didn't do no guess, but I'm telling you right now, like no joke, I have text messages to prove it, that I had Israel Adesanya winning this fight. I picked him 100%. Now the co-main, which was Gilbert Burns versus Jorge, that was an easy one. I very well was gonna pick that as well. But let's before we just go to the co-main and the main, let's just go ahead and talk about the fight card in general. Fire, like legit, Chris. If you could put some fire emojis or a fire sound, put it up right now, because this card was fuego. Especially the prelims, okay? The prelim main event, which was Kurt Curtis versus Kelvin Gastelum, fireworks, absolute fireworks. I knew from the when they announced the fight, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a good fight. Didn't know it was gonna live like that. That fight was crazy. The fact that nobody really dropped outside of, I guess you want to consider Curtis getting dropped, but it was a headbutt. But if you really want to talk about like fire, like guys that's in the pocket, fighting, boxing, putting in work, these dudes did it, and they 100% earned fight of the night. I mean, Kelvin Gastelum, man, it's weird. He's a weird guy, man, because he is legit elite level talent, 100%. I don't think anybody could debate this. But he just don't always put it together. Like when he flows and he's boxing, he's light on his feet. He's a tough guy to beat in the stand-up department. I mean, he almost beat Israel Adesanya in a 5-round decision. Like there's one thing to knock Israel Adesanya out, but Alex Pereira couldn't even beat him in a 5-round fight. Like he had to knock Izzy out to win that fight. Legit, if Kelvin Gastelum won that 5th round, you can argue that he won that fight. So that just goes to show the type of talent that Kelvin Gastelum is. And once again, for Chris Curtis, like you fought well, and you showed that you are an elite level fighter, but you still gotta, you know, with this. I feel like sometimes he's a bit of a slow starter. And he gets going kind of late, and the round kind of gets away from him at times, then he picks it up. He's a 5-round fighter, simple and plain. He has power, but you know, once again, he starts slow. So it takes him a while before him to find that rhythm to be able to knock you out. But absolutely amazing fight, one of the best fights this year. Now let's talk about the main card. All right, so the card started off with Paul Ruas Jr., who was the 17-year-old that now is 18, and everybody called the Phenom and all the hype train and things like that, which, you know, at the end of the day, to be 17 and win a Contender Series fight shows a lot of potential, especially for a 17-year-old. But I will say the UFC made a big mistake. To put him up against a fighter that was, what, 8-1? That's a little too soon. That's a little too soon. Rodriguez is a pretty game fighter. He's a guy that has experience. Same thing that happened to Aaron Pico. Aaron Pico came out, had all the hype in the world. He didn't even have a fight. They put him up against a guy that had like 8 or 9 fights. He got knocked out, or he got dropped, and then he got submitted. That's what happens. Fighting is one of the things where you do need experience, man. You're not gonna just come out the gate and just be Lomachenko and just fight for a world championship your first fight. And some people could bring up Brock Lesnar, but that was literally 15 years ago. You're not having that. You're not having that again. Even Alex Pereira, who didn't have as many fights, he had what, 8 or 9 fights or whatever. Like legit, he had what, 3 fights before getting into the title shot versus Israel. And even still, you can still say he wasn't, like, he kind of got hand-picked fights because he didn't fight any real wrestlers that could lay and prey on him for 3 rounds and actually take away an L. So, you know, once again, it was kind of it was a big reach for them. I know he was a favorite going in and people expected him to win, but I think that's just because people didn't expect or really don't have too much knowledge on Rodriguez. But once I saw the record, and then I'm like, all right, this dude is very experienced. Why are they matching him up with him so quickly? Then I looked at some tape and I'm like, this is gonna be a tough fight. Now, I'm not saying I picked Rodriguez to win this fight. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. But at the same time, I knew this was gonna be very tough because this is a big step up from what he had previously. But I thought he fought like a young guy. He went all in the first round trying to get that finish, and he didn't because he wasn't composed and he panicked. once he realized this guy wasn't going out quick and this guy wasn't a stepping stool, he kind of wilted a little bit. And I think that is an age thing. I don't think that's something like, oh, that's who he is in the future. But as of right now, he needed that. It's okay to lose. This is MMA. Everybody loses. Except for your John Jones and Habib. But everybody loses. It's okay. Like to me, it kind of is reminiscent to a Charles Oliveira into a lesser level, because Charles had a lot more hype, he had a lot more wins, and he was honestly like looking like the next best thing against decent opponents. And then eventually he got submitted by Jim Miller, and it was like, oh, then he started going downwards. We already know the story, so I don't have to keep going there. But it kind of feels like that. Hopefully it's a learning experience and he gets better, but I do think that the UFC should have slow rolled him a lot better than what they did. It's kind of weird how they did that, but it is what it is. Now, let's go ahead to the next fight, which was Kevin Holland versus Santiago. Santiago. Well, it was a good fight. I thought that Santiago honestly was winning the fight, actually. I was kind of surprised by that, but I'm starting to realize once again, Kevin Holland's also a slow starter. He's a guy that kind of, you know, once again, he gets with the rhythm and then he just looks for the big shot to knock you out. And he has enough power and he's such a lanky guy that he can land on you and catch that, you know, catch you with something that you don't see coming. Next thing you know, you're asleep. It didn't work out well for him in his last fight versus Wonder Boy, but it definitely worked in this fight. And Santiago's kind of been a little chinny as of late. He's been getting rocked a lot more. He's not in his prime anymore. So I did pick Kevin Holland to win, but I thought he was going to look a little bit more impressive, to be honest with you. But it was still a good fight. Kevin Holland, to come back from what, a broken hand or whatever, what was that, 3 months ago, 4 months ago? Like, he's a savage. Like, that's impressive, not even gonna lie to you. Because fighters, when they break their hands, they normally want to take a little bit longer off so they can let that heal, because your hand can break again. Like, we already seen with Floyd Mayweather, his hands are so brittle now because he broke his hand. Like, and it's just repeated contact to people's heads and skulls and bags. It's painful. So, you know, it's whatever. But I mean, I guess Kevin Holland needs a top 10 opponent. I mean, he's game. He's a tough dude. Got decent wrestling. Very good striker. He has a really good chin, because he takes a lot of punishment, but it's hard to get this man up out of there. So you gotta just step up in competition. 170's kind of crowded right now. Maybe give him Jeff Neal. That would be a fun fight, but maybe not, because Jeff Neal's coming off a loss. But I think that would be a very fun fight. You know, but there's a lot of dogs in 170 and a lot of up and comers, so who knows who's next. And as far as Santiago, I don't really know what's the next fight. I mean, I don't think he can get a title shot anytime soon anyways, but back to the drawing board. Just keep fighting, man. Make money for your family. Now, after that, the fight that did surprise me and I didn't expect at all, excuse me, I know my hair is jacked up, leave me alone. Rob Font versus Adrian Yanez. Did not expect that fight to go the way it did. I mean, we all knew it was gonna be a boxing matchup. And the thing that I trusted least was gonna be Rob Font's chin. He's been getting touched up. Like, granted, he hasn't been finished by a knockout, but he gets hurt so frequently when he goes against the top tier fighters. I thought Adrian Yanez was gonna seize the opportunity to rock this man a lot and possibly get a finish, because Yanez has a really good boxing. Nope. And Font needed this dub, and he looked hella impressive. Super impressed. Was definitely the best knockout of the night. I'm sorry, not the best knockout of the night. The second best knockout of the night, but it threw me off guard. Adrian Yanez definitely got to go back to the drawing board, and he's got to work on his defense, man. He gets touched up too much. I mean, this is not the first fight where he's been touched up a lot. He relies on his chin too much, and that is one of the worst strategies to have. Let's keep it as that. Like, you don't want to keep relying on your chin. Chuck Liddell found out. Justin Gaethje is the only person that really hasn't found out yet. Yes, he's got knocked out before, but he's still not chinny, which is weird, because he gets punched every fight. Like, so I don't get, he's the anomaly, but you don't want to keep relying on your chin, and Yanez kind of did that on this one, and he got hurt. And Rob Font isn't a guy that really is a knockout guy per se. He don't really knock you out. He just jabs you to death. And you know, he obviously pieces up good combinations, but he's not gonna just sleep you. But Yanez got pieced up bad, like bad. So it's definitely back to the drawing board, my brother. But great fight. I definitely got that one wrong in my prediction. I know I didn't do a prediction, but I'm just being honest. I know I got that one wrong. I didn't guess that. Now, the co-main, which was Jorge Masvidal versus Gilbert Burns. First, congratulations, Gilbert Burns. I like Gilbert Burns, but Jorge Masvidal on a great career. To come out with street fighting and fighting with Kimbo Slice to becoming a household name in the UFC is not an easy feat. we saw like the star of street fighting, which was Kimbo, couldn't do it. But you had a very good career, and it's something to be proud of. You had 2 title shots. You lost both, but you did a very good job of beating Darren Till. Did a great job of beating Ben Askren, being the first person to take his OA and making him look like how he actually looks. So, you know, a lot of praise to that. But I've been calling he's been washed for a little bit now. This fight was, I was kind of surprised that Gilbert was as tentative. I get it, because Jorge still packs power. But Gilbert Burns is on another level, and honestly, he should have like beat him pretty easily, like easier than what he did. But it was still a good fight. It was a fight. I wasn't that interested in it to begin with, but it wasn't that great of a fight in my opinion. But Gilbert Burns, I mean, what's next for this guy? I don't really know, because you have Bilal, who really does deserve the championship shot, but he's not getting it. So I would assume that would be the next thing. But in reality, like, Colby and Gilbert Burns should be the next fight. That should be the next fight. And then Bilal should be fighting Leon in a rematch. I mean, that should be what happens, but that's not what's gonna happen. So I'm guessing Gilbert's probably gonna either fight Bilal or he's gonna wait out for a title shot, either or. And I'm not for the waiting, but that's probably what's gonna happen. Now, the last fight we gotta talk about, the people that y'all hate for some odd reason, but I absolutely love, which is Israel Adesanya. First of all, just from his walkout, you kind of figured it was a different kind of attitude he had. Like, the guy meant business. He wasn't doing his dancing choreography and his playing around. He meant business, and he had to, because at the end of the day, this dude's beaten him, what, 4 times now? What, 4? 3 times now. Like, bro, you got beat 3 times, and you got knocked out in 2 of them. There's no plan. So the fact that I seen that switch turn in his mental, and then you saw it in the fight, that he looked a lot more serious. And the thing is, Alex was a lot more confident in this second fight, because Alex was kicking the hell out of his legs and starting to bother him a lot. And then in that second round that got him caught, you could tell he was like, I'm just better than this dude. Like, I have no fear of Izzy. I'm just gonna watch this man. And he went in for the kill. That was his mistake. And I thought that Israel did a really good job, boxing out when he was against the cage, instead of, you know, doing his normal just shucking it. No, I can say shucking it, that was messed up. But, you know, just instead of doing his normal like circle around, he actually was trying to box his way out, which forced Alex to engage a little bit more, because I feel like Alex he's aggressive, but he also likes to counter strike. So that kind of put it in the realm of Izzy being able to catch him. But simple playing possum, and I think he was somewhat hurt, but I do think he was egging it on to create an engagement. And he caught him with that looping shot that stunned him, and then he followed up with another. And that pawing jab to just hold him still for just a slight second, just to hit him with the overhand, was all she wrote. And the revenge is beautiful. Like, simple and plain, who don't like revenge? And Israel got it, not just versus him, but also his kid. So I'm for it. I'm with all the pettiness. People want to say that's immature. So what, man? Like, life's too short. Like, y'all want to be professional, business oriented about everything, cool. But people like Israel, they gonna live their life to their truth, and I respect it. But that was a great dub. I don't really know if I don't think that Israel should go up. I think he should stay at 185. I think he's capped out at 185. I don't think he should go to 205. I do think fighting a heel possibly could be a winnable fight for him, but anybody else at 205, I think would beat him, just because he's just too small. He's just too small. The man's what, 31 now? He's not gonna get any bigger. Like, he's a stick. He's not gonna get bigger. Stay at 185. Fight these tough guys that's coming up. And continue to clean it out and make your way to being possibly the greatest 185 pounder in the world. I think that's the best way to go. Alex Pereira, I mean, people saying going up, I also don't think you should go up. I think that fighting Hill is a favorable matchup, but everybody else, once again, you don't have good wrestling. You fight Magomedov, like, bro, you're gonna get like done. Like, it's gonna be a wrap, bro. Like, you fight, even John, I think John is gonna just straight beat the brakes off of Alex. So it will be an interesting time. Up to 205 will be a lot more interesting fights, but I think she should stay at 185. And Chimaev needs a win before he gets a title shot. I don't want to hear nobody bringing him up. Fight Paulo Costa, and then, or I don't care, fight anybody else that's in the top 5, and I will be fine with Chimaev getting a title shot. But until then, no, he don't deserve one. But as always, man, thank you guys for watching, man. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Follow me on social media at Papa Showtime, Josh Showtime, whichever one you find. And if you just can't get enough of me, make sure you download the iHeartRadio app and listen to me on 98.3 The Real. It's a hip-hop station. So, you know, if you love me, just go ahead and support. But as always, man, thank you guys for watching. Keep it bliss.